home. Gillette hit the woman with a pistol before running away. That's according to authorities. The Guilford County Sheriff's Office chased Gillette on Sunday, but they were not able to catch him. He is 6 feet tall, last seen wearing a black beanie, gray jacket, pants, and camo knee-length boots. So if you see him, let police know. And if you enjoy face masks, I know I do, you'll definitely want to listen to this next story. The skincare brand Yes2 voluntarily recalled its Grapefruit Vitamin C Glow Boosting Unicorn Paper Mask. Look for the unicorn. It's pink. This follows reports of burning, redness, and painful skin irritation. One 13-year-old told CBS News the mask burned, but she kept it on because the package said this: tingling, yes. It's working. It's a little misleading there. Health experts say you need to be careful using sheet masks because they offer a more powerful delivery of whatever vitamins and nutrients that they are putting on your face, and it can also be more irritating. They add you really do have to be mindful using masks with natural ingredients, specifically the citrus ones like grapefruit. Others include lavender and peppermint.
Yeah, here's the difference, Tasha. When you said face mask, I thought football. That's all I thought of, and I was like, where's she going with that? But all right, let's see what's going on now. I know. Low 60s out there right now. Winston-Salem at 60 degrees, Greensboro at 62. You can see Lexington, you're also in the low 60s as well, and Asheboro at 64. Yeah, we've got showers out there, and it's staying with us for a little bit as well. We'll probably see that rain sticking with us on again, off again, unfortunately, for the next several days. Look how our temperatures barely change. We stay in the low 60s and maybe some upper 50s heading into the overnight hours as well. In case you're wondering, January rainfall just so far, you know, think about this, we're only 13 days in, right? 2.46 inches of rain at PTI. The average for the entire month is 3.06, so only 0.6 of an inch away from that, and we honestly will probably make that up in the next day or two. You can see the showers out there. They were heavy at times. A lot of this is now to the east of us, but don't think you're in the clear yet because all this kind of lingers over our region for the next couple of days. We'll have our long-range forecast coming up in just a bit.
To our south in South Carolina, a high school closed in Kershaw County because of a tornado that hit that area. The National Weather Service confirming the tornado was an EF2. Wind speeds reached roughly 130 miles per hour Saturday evening. School officials there say the damage will take days to fix. That same system resulted in tornadoes in Oklahoma and Arkansas.
Turning to world news now, a volcano erupted near the Philippine capital. Authorities say more than 13,000 people had to be evacuated. Now, the country's main airport closed down, 500 flights canceled. Clouds of ash extended out more than 62 miles north of the volcano there. Government offices, schools, and businesses were closed today. That was to avoid health risks from the ash in that explosion. Authorities say no major injuries or damages were reported. That volcano was dormant for months before Sunday's eruption.
To the Big Apple now, looking at your national headlines. There was a water main break in Manhattan that made a mess of the morning commute, and you know they don't need more traffic in that area. The main erupted around 5:30 this morning. Several subway train routes were suspended, and the crews had to stop the flow of water into streets about 2 hours after the break.
It's game day. In case you didn't know, yeah, Clemson and LSU, they take over New Orleans for tonight's national championship game. Coming up, how Clemson prepared for game day in a little bit of an unusual way.
Now, we are going to break, but the conversation does not stop. Get on your phone and let us know where you're watching from. And if you have a comment or a question, use that hashtag word4, number 2, word 5, and we'll try to answer it live here on air. In the meantime, Jalen Gilkey mining those keys. We'll get to him right after the break.
He's all over it.
He's all over it. Welcome back to your 4 to 5, the interactive news show where we talk with you during the breaks. Want to say a big hello to Jamal watching from Austin, Texas, Kenneth watching from McLeansville, and Jeff watching from Randleman.
Yeah, someone commented a few minutes ago says we have a lot of Randolph County folks
We
on
do.
here too. So keep us posted, man. We're right here. Just make sure you use the hashtag 425. You see it right behind us there. Use that hashtag 425 and we'll get to you. All right, talking sports. Obviously a lot going on in the sports world right now. Former Dallas Cowboys head coach Jimmy Johnson, a member of the 2020 class of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He led Cowboys from a 1-15 season to back-to-back Super Bowl titles in 1992 and 93. Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones said he's happy that Johnson received this honor.
I was getting a little worried about him this morning. I don't know if you heard that interview. He was getting choked up. It's kind of hard to hear what he was saying. I was worried for his health there. He was crying. All right, moving on now to some tennis. Serena Williams won her first tournament since the birth of her daughter. She defeated Jessica Puglia at ASB Classic over in New Zealand. Williams said that she will actually donate her $43,000 prize money to those impacted by the wildfires in Australia. This is Williams' first title win in 3 years. Williams won the Australia Open in January of 2017 while she was pregnant with her daughter Alexis Olympia. The tennis player has won 23 Grand Slam single titles, more than anyone else in tennis history.
All right, and it all comes down to this tonight. A battle of two undefeated teams vying for the College Football National Championship. LSU takes on Clemson for all the marbles. That's tonight. Analysts are saying that on paper it looks like a great matchup leading to a great, probably down to the wire game. Both teams known for dynamic offensive and great passing defenses as well. And 33 of the 49 of ESPN's top personalities and reporters chose LSU as the winner. LSU is a 6-point favorite thereabouts, but everybody agrees this game will be tight with a lot of points being put on the board. The big game is tonight at 8 p.m. on ESPN.
And I want you to take a look at this. Clemson is getting creative with their practice during bad weather. The team ended up practicing in their hotel. You can see them running some stretches there. Head coach Dabo Swinney said that it was possibly the team's best practice all year. Swinney said the team could have used the Saints practice facility, but they didn't. And I don't want to hear anyone, if they happen to lose and then it comes down because they were practicing in the hotel, I don't want to hear it.
Don't blame that. Don't blame that. Clemson fans had a little pregame boost on Saturday night on the hardwoods, at least. They finally beat the Tar Heels in Chapel Hill. This ended a 59-game winning streak for UNC over the Tigers at home at Carolina. Clemson had to overcome a 10-point deficit with about 2 minutes left in regulation to send the game into overtime. The Tigers pressed the Tar Heels at every inbounds pass to make this happen. In overtime, the Tar Heels allowed too many backdoor cuts, and that let Clemson squeak out the 3-point win at the end. The streak of 59, by the way, straight wins is still the longest winning streak at home over one opponent in NCAA history.
This is really a tough blow to UNC because it's one thing to lose, but to lose in overtime.
Well, and to be up, because I watched and it was painful for me being a UNC guy, but 10 points, you're up 10 points with 2 minutes to go in most
You think
cases.
you're sitting pretty.
Most cases with Carolina you are, but that press that they did, Tar Heels couldn't handle it. It was crazy.
Well, after 59 years, someone else is victorious.
And
I just can't imagine what's going through those players' minds because you know this game is going to be one that really sticks with them.
Well, and it's hard to, well, at least you have this to say. I don't know how many years it will be, if ever, that we'll see one team beating the other one 59 straight games.
Right.
That's because it went back like 93 years, 59 games. That was incredible. So, but it's over.
It's over.
Pressure's off. Yeah.
Pressure's off.
All right, we're going to take a short break. The 4 to 5 continues in a minute. Make sure you hit us up on Facebook here. We've got lots of folks in this chat room. Join in.
On the tag board, Yeah, Scott and then Matt and then Wanda.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. We are connecting with you. Make sure you use that hashtag. You see it right behind us. Word 4, number 2, word 5.
Yeah, and we are connecting with you on Facebook. Let's head over to Jalen Gilkey. You've been minding those comments. A lot of people wondering about the weather.
Yes, this weather has been absolutely beautiful the last couple of days, and it's only getting better. So we got a lot of people, they're outside enjoying the weather right now. We got a comment coming from Jonathan. He said he's absolutely loving it. And Jonathan, I'm gonna be honest, I'm absolutely loving it as well. And Brenda, she said, yes, she loved yesterday, but she said, excuse me, but today it's time for some snow. So I don't know about that. How you feeling about the snow, Eric?
No,
No
she's asked me,
snow.
Brenda asked me just in the chat room just a minute ago, she's like, more snow. I said, no, please.
Right.
Just let us get by. It's been 300 and something days since we've had a measurable snow. It's like December of 2018 was the last time we had.
And that was a lot.
That was a big one.
That was more than a foot.
And by the
at
way,
that
they're
point.
talking about temperatures that they're liking. Obviously, it's raining, so that's probably, I think it's just the mild temperatures.
This is the trade-off. You can't get both.
Got that right.
Only yesterday you can.
That's right. That's right.
All right, so let's go into today's top trending story. It's the Oscars. Issa Rae and John Cho, they revealed Oscar nominations this morning. And Todd Phillips with The Joker led with 11 nominations, including Best Picture. Joaquin Phoenix is nominated for Best Actor in his role of the Joker here. Some other movies in the Best Picture category include Ford v. Ferrari, Jojo Rabbit, and Little Women. That was a great novel, by the way. Scarlett Johansson nominated twice in that.
Another big nomination, the war film 1917. The movie was released only 3 days ago, and it earned 10 nominations. So we asked you on Facebook, think back to all the war movies you've seen. What is your favorite here?
Yeah, Jalen, what are people saying on Facebook when it comes to some movies?
Now this is right up my alley because war movies are, that's my favorite genre. So our first comment comes from Scott. He said Midway would be top 3. Been a while since seeing any other war movies, so it's hard to say. And then Matt, he says his favorite is Hamburger Hill. And then Wanda, she says her favorite is Full Metal Jacket. And then MD, he had a list for us. He said way too many for him to name. Great Escape, Stalag 17, the Quentin Tarantino film Inglourious, we'll skip that. And then it's Tora, and Bridge Over the River, Quay. So that's a great list there.
That
My
is a great
personal
list.
favorite is the series Band of Brothers.
See, we're on the same page with
That's
this.
why
Even
my
though I know
brother.
that's a series,
Exactly,
right?
but
But
it's-
still,
Yeah, you carve out 2 days.
do you own it? Do you own the box
I don't
set?
have the box set. I used to just watch it on History Channel.
It's so
and just
good.
catch it all Sunday. It's amazing.
It's all Tom Hanks, man.
Yeah, I don't really have much to add to this conversation because war movies really aren't my thing. The only one that I've seen and one that really sticks with me is The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. That
Oh,
one
yes, I forgot
really,
about that.
really, after reading the book and then seeing that one stuck with me. But I'm more of a rom-com girl. I actually didn't even recognize most of the movies that people were saying.
Well, and a lot of those were older movies, but for me, it's Saving Private Ryan and Schindler's List was an incredibly good movie, too. Anyway.
Okay, you know what? I have seen those too.
Oh,
so I'll
good,
claim
good.
those. Those were good
Two
ones.
best.
All right, we don't go anywhere because after the break, we are breaking down loneliness. And apparently researchers are now saying it can have the same effect on your body as smoking or obesity. We're going to be breaking down a few ways to overcome loneliness.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. Now think about this. A day of the week that could rival Monday, they're saying now, could be Sunday. So think about it. You had a great weekend. You know it's time to think about heading back to work. That stress kind of starts to kick in there before you even get in the office. Now there's a name for this. It is called Sunday Scaries. I like that name. A new poll suggests people get anxious about work on Sundays at exactly 3:58 p.m. That's when the Sunday scaries kick in. And that is thinking too much about work and spending extra time on chores. And really, you're trying to get caught up before you're taking care of yourself. More than 70% of people surveyed said normal sleep schedule was impacted after the weekend.
Yes, because you're staying up late.
Yes, and you're trying to get caught up.
And you're trying to get caught up.
Before your weekend's gone.
Sundays are just very stressful. So I meal prep on Sundays because I don't like to cook multiple times throughout the week. So I spend hours on Sunday going to the grocery store, handling the crowds after church, which is another thing because there are a lot of people there.
That's a whole nother thing.
And then I got to cook 3 meals on top of that. And then I'm thinking, okay, now I have to get everything ready for work. I got to do my hair, and there's a lot that goes on. So this is a wig. I wear a wig, okay? And under my wig, I braid my hair, and to just tame it so that it comes down under here.
No shame in the game.
No shame in the game. What I do to look nice on TV.
You know, for me, it reminds me of when I was a kid, and I knew Sunday nights, I would hear the tick, tick, tick of 60 Minutes. My parents watched it every Sunday night. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh no. I knew it's time to get up the next morning again. So I get that.
I get that. Monday's coming, and on a rainy day like that, I'm sorry. But you know what? We'll get it through together. We'll get through. All right, so think about this, something to keep on your radar. Researchers are now saying that loneliness is a public health concern, especially for older adults. Researchers over in California noticed what they appear to be an epidemic among adults in senior living or retirement communities, and they wanted to identify why. They say that loneliness can be deadly, and it's gotten to the point where it rivals smoking and obesity in terms of how it affects your body. By 2029, more than 20% of the U.S. population will be over the age of 65. So researchers say it's important that we understand loneliness, how to keep people happy as ways to improve quality of life. Some ways that they suggested in terms of coping with loneliness: perform a good act for someone else, usually makes you feel good about yourself. Sometimes it can just be coming to terms with your aging. And another thing really to keep in mind, especially for those who are at the senior living facilities, it's the communication aspect and just being connected to people inside and outside the home. So if you do know someone that is in a home, they really do appreciate those phone calls.
I think I've always said the greatest gift you give somebody who's older is attention.
Right.
And if you and you don't even have to say a whole lot, let them tell their stories, you know, just go sit and talk to them. I think that's really valuable.
And they really do have the best stories if you just take the time to listen.
It's very true. All right, so think about this. Usually fishermen have the one that got away story, but for one Floridian, it is just the opposite. It did not get away. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Research Institute posted this picture of a 350-pound Warsaw grouper caught off the southwest coast of Florida. Biologists from their lab estimated the age of this fish is 50 years old. Makes it the oldest they've ever collected. Now, Warsaw groupers are usually deep water fish who reside in waters between 180 and 1,700 feet below the surface. The fisherman who caught this one, by the way, used an old-fashioned hook and line. And for a 350-pound fish, that must have been a battle.
I keep looking at that photo and I'm trying to see, is there a depth perception thing, or is the fish really as tall as he is?
So if you look, I think he's not that far back from the fish. I think it is that big. I mean, 350 pounds, you think about that, that's a giant
That's a
fish.
large human too.
That's right. So I think that's pretty much as it is. Can you imagine trying to reel that in?
No, I cannot.
I don't know how it didn't just rip it out of his hand or break it.
And how long would it take? I mean, you have to be working at that for a while. You get some help in there too.
See, they need to give us more details.
That's what we need.
Just saw the picture. Come on, Florida wildlife people. All right, let's see what's going on with our forecast. We got to talk about some rain, don't we? We've had it out here for a while. Temperatures are good, but the rain's not going anywhere anytime soon. You look at that, excuse me, this stationary front is doing just that, remaining stationary over the next day or so. So we just watch little wave after wave of low pressures right along that stationary front. Even when the cold front gets closer to us, it still doesn't move through. It just sort of lingers around. So we've got some rain for the next several days. We'll let you know when we'll see the sun again coming up. We'll be right back.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together like a classic combination.
Good afternoon. Welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Tahej Chamois, joined by Eric Chilton, and there's one of us missing.
There's a gap
Maddie
right here.
Gardner.
Maddie had to work the early mornings today, so she's probably getting ready for bedtime right about now.
No, she better be watching us live on Facebook and commenting with us, as you can be as well, because this is the show where we are connecting with you on air and online live.
Make sure you use the hashtag. It's the word 4, the number 2, the word 5, like you see behind us here, and then that way we can see your comments.
All right, let's get you caught up on some of our headlines of today with our 4 to 5 roundup. We are beginning in some military news. The Pentagon says that 2 Fort Bragg soldiers killed Saturday in an Afghanistan bombing are from Virginia and Illinois. 29-year-old Sergeant Staff Ian McLaughlin and 21-year-old Private First Class Officer Miguel Villayan were killed in the line of duty. You can see Miguel here on your screen. The Pentagon says the vehicle was struck by an explosive. 2 other soldiers were hurt. Congressman Richard Hudson, who serves Fort Bragg, commented on these soldiers' deaths. He said, quote, "These brave men lived and died as heroes, and our country will never forget them. We send our deepest condolences to their family and teammates, and will keep them in our prayers." Governor Roy Cooper ordered all U.S. and North Carolina flags be lowered at half-staff until this Sunday. The Senate impeachment trial could start as soon as the end of this week or maybe the beginning of next week. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is meeting with her caucus on Tuesday, and they're discussing House impeachment managers there. Those managers are in charge of prosecuting the case against the president and delivering the articles of impeachment to the Senate. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says the Senate will follow the 1999 Clinton impeachment trial for this case. Now, in that 1999 hearing, senators heard opening statements from impeachment managers and the president's lawyers before deciding how to pursue testimony. Do you want free chicken nuggets from Chick-Fil-A? You know my saying, if it's free, it's for me, and it can maybe be for you. Chick-fil-A is offering free 8-piece nuggets for anyone who creates a Chick-fil-A logon or anyone who signs into their account if you have one. That promo runs through the end of the month. You can redeem it in the restaurant or through the drive-thru, and you can order ahead using that app. Chick-fil-A also added Kale Crunch as a side to the menu. If you don't want those free nuggets, you can sub out for something a little bit healthier like the Kale Crunch until the end of the month. Back here in Greensboro, the Greensboro Science Center welcomes some new arrivals. Rocky and Jagger, they arrived Friday afternoon. They are Sumatran tigers. They're brothers, and they are going to have some time to get used to their new home before going on exhibit.
Time to talk about weather, and of course we're talking about cloudy skies, rain, intermittent basically at times. I mean, that's kind of what we've seen all day long. Even when you look at the radar over here, notice that the showers, now some of the heavier stuff starting to move out, but there's more back behind this. The heaviest rain now is down east, so you're looking at from Wilmington up toward just east of Fayetteville. It all is moving to the east at a pretty good clip, but there's more behind this. This entire system just sort of lingering around for a little bit. That is going to be the case, I would say, all the way through the middle part of the week. It may be as late as Thursday before we see some clearing out there, and then another little round of weather on Saturday. We're going to show you the 7-day coming up in a minute so you can plan your weekend. Sunday, probably the better day of the two.
Taking a look at your world headlines. Australian wildfires continuing to burn right now. More than 20 people have died nationwide because of that. Thousands of homes are either destroyed or damaged, and more than 17 million acres have been charred across Australia. So let's put this into perspective for you. That is twice the size of the state of Maryland. 500 million animals have been impacted by the fires, and millions more are believed to be dead.
Well, Leonardo DiCaprio's foundation donating for fire relief here. The Earth Alliance Environmental Organization will contribute $3 million to Australia's wildfire fund. Fires fueled by drought during the hottest and driest period on the country's record. Those fires, by the way, they started back in September.
Some of the wildlife has survived the flames, but now many are struggling to feed themselves after their habitats have been ruined. Well, the government in New South Wales is now dropping food as a way to help. Thousands of pounds of carrots and sweet potatoes dropped in national parks. The food is dropping until officials are confident that animals can fend for themselves. The Australian government is pledging $50 million to establish the Wildlife Recovery Program. Now, when major wildfires like this starts, everyone starts talking about climate change. So today we are verifying if there is possibly a link between human-caused climate change and extreme fires like what we are seeing right now in Australia. So here's what we found out. Our Verify team looked through peer-reviewed papers and spoke with a climatologist. He said that climate change does play a role, adding climate change doesn't cause extreme events but makes extreme events more likely. So think of it this way. If a baseball player is on steroids, they are more likely to hit a home run. So in warmer climates like Australia, you'll get more intense heat waves, droughts, and fires.
A lot of the very destructive weather events we've had have been juiced by climate change.
So we can verify, yes, there is a link between human-caused climate change and extreme fires.
All right, so what I want you to do is check this out. It's a real bill from the insurance company. The amount owed, $7.72 from the insurance company to the patient. The amount the patient owed, $7.73. So there is what? A 1 cent balance. Okay, bright side is you don't owe a whole lot of money to the insurance company, right? That's the bright side.
Yeah, of course.
Right, it's 1 cent in that case.
Would you even bother to pay that?
So that was the question. It seems like a kind of a petty thing, right? But if you don't pay it, could they possibly come back to haunt you for that?
So, but I guess the question is, can they send you to collections because of 1 cent?
penny.
They can.
Really?
The answer is yes. The short answer is yes. They can send you to collections. Now, it used to be that collections didn't care one way or another whether it was 1 cent or $100,000. New ways of figuring out the credit score now mean that if anything's under $100, they usually kind of waive it on your credit score. But those debt collectors could possibly still be calling you.
For 1 cent
you
that they
imagine
could
if
find
they-
on the ground.
How
and cover
angry
it.
would you be? So, and then the one person said, well, I'm just going to tape it to the bill and mail it back in. And I'm like, okay, but what happens if the person behind the desk takes that 1 cent?
Yeah.
You're really going to have to write a check
For 1 cent.
for 1
For
cent.
1 cent.
Yeah. Okay. So tonight on Two Wants to Know, a woman who got a bill more than a year after her appointment and was much more than 1 cent.
This is
So we're gonna talk about
$3.89
this.
Stone Drive. This is our property here. So they had the pit.
Okay, so what you're looking at here is a different story that we're bringing to you tonight. This person owns one plot of land, but there's big plots of land all around their house. They're putting it on Zillow, realestate.com, that kind of stuff. And the numbers that they have on their plot of land are different because the websites are taking the other land around them and replacing their information. So now they can't sell their house because the information on the website is wrong.
That really doesn't make any sense. I'm
Yeah.
sure they're furious about this.
Yeah, and how easy is it for you to get someone on the phone from a website?
Yeah, no, hardly ever. Tough.
No.
Good
Crickets.
times.
Crickets.
Okay, right, crickets. So what's going to happen is we took the challenge of, hey, can we get somebody on the phone? Can we figure out what's wrong on this web-based issue? And can we get this information right so these people can actually sell their house? They're here in Guilford County, and they got a big problem. We're going to try and work it out.
Two wants to know on the case.
Two wants
Always
to know
on
coming
it.
up
On
about
it.
5:45. That's that story with that challenge.
Very good. We'll see how it goes.
All right, and coming up after the break, did you hear what Susie said about Sally at the water cooler this morning? Well, neither did I, but apparently it's good that Susie was talking about Sally. New research shows work gossip may be good for you. Yeah, we'll explain how that all works out next. And remember, as we go to break right now, keep talking to us during the break. Why do you think work gossip is good for the soul, or maybe why it may not be as beneficial? Use that hashtag 4 to 5 and we'll read some of your comments after the break.
Amber, taking a peek outside right now, that's US 52 at Walltown over in Forsyth County in Winston-Salem. Looks okay right now, a little busy on the right-hand side there. We'll keep you posted if we hear of anything, any slowdowns out there. We'll be right back.
So we are in the heart of flu season, but the numbers may be a little misleading.
Yeah, the CDC says the number of cases have declined, but there could be a flu rebound in the future. Not what we want to hear. The CDC's data shows that visits to doctors' offices for flu symptoms decreased from 7% last week to 5.8% this week. That ended a 3-week climb. Now, they say it's because the type of flu that's showing up is one that actually affects kids and younger adults. That means there are fewer hospitalizations and death over the one that would affect the elderly.
So that brings us to our question of the day. Have you received your flu shot? If you would like to vote, you can go to WFMY.com/vote now. You can also use our free and updated app that will pop up there right at the top of the app there. So your choices here you can see is yes, good to go, no, not yet, or don't plan on it. I got my flu shot.
You did it
last
early, didn't
year.
you?
I did, before we got into 2020.
I did.
I got a free one, so
I did
there
too.
we go.
Just CVS, thank you. No plug intended there. Yes, good to go has 77% right now, it looks like. So
Yeah, so keep voting, and we'll check your results later on in some of our other newscasts as well.
All right, here's something for you to think about. You've probably heard, not nice to gossip, especially at work, but now some researchers are saying, now this can actually be good for you. Not sure about how that works or not. So researchers in China, in an office there, they found that gossip, and it depends on your definition of gossip here, but it can help build group cohesion and cooperation. They found that 61% of the workplace gossip is positive. If that's the case, then are positive oriented, then it's a good thing. Only negative gossip, of course, causes employee cynicism. But even then, researchers say that can inspire self-improvement sometimes. I think, I'm not sure about that. Tempers might flare. Psychologists encourage you to talk about your coworkers in an upbeat way and share what you like about them with your peers. But before you head to the water cooler, they say it's important to be mindful of the power of gossip while taking advantage of benefits at the same time. So a lot of folks sounding off about this. You have put this on your Facebook page today, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, because I knew this was going to get a topic that people really were going to talk about. And for me, really, I have to say, gossip, if it's negative, okay, I understand. But sometimes you're maybe telling a story, or you're just talking about something and someone's name happens to be dropped. I mean, technically that's gossip because you're
By
talking
definition,
about someone
right.
who's not there. But not everything is this nefarious thing where you're lowering someone or belittling them because you happen to mention their name. So I know some people have some other thoughts on gossip. You've really sounded off on my Facebook page, and Jalen Gilkey, you've been tracking those comments for us.
Yeah, so most people on your page, Tahisha, they're saying that gossip can be a negative thing, but if we can go to our first comment, we can see it comes from Peggy. She said, gossip is never good. Someone is always wronged in a big or small way. You lose your credibility and trustworthiness when you gossip. And then from Donna, she says, I don't see how that could be beneficial. If anything, I would think that gossiping at work causes tension and an upheaval of concentration on the positive for a better workplace environment. And our next comment comes from Timothy. He said, it could potentially benefit an individual to make them more likable and to increase their influence, but it will degrade the work team as a whole. So some pretty strong feelings about this. And I don't know, guys. So I also asked on the Facebook page, on a scale of 0 to 10, how big of a gossip are you?
This was funny.
So come to our Facebook page and make sure you comment on the live feed with the hashtag 425.
Yeah, one person said 3 in work, 10 outside of work. Yeah. I mean, think about this, what we do for a living. Aren't we just gossiping for a living, talking about other people?
Factual gossip.
Factual gossip.
I think that's interesting here. Well, we'll see how it goes. Just make sure you weigh in, and you can use that hashtag 425 and let us know exactly what you think about that. We're going to take a short break, and we're coming right back.
For this, hi there, 1, 2, 3 for this coming weekend, but you know I'm out of commission because of isolation. Hi there, can you hear me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I would like to go with you.
Yeah, no, I definitely will.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. We are connecting with you on air and online, and I've got to say, a lot of people don't like to gossip.
Yeah.
They think it's bad.
I think that's what they said. Well, I've never heard a good gossip, but that's what this story is saying. Jalen, what are they up to out there?
Yeah. So we got a comment from George. He said he's a 0 on a scale of 0. He says it causes a problem in the workplace. And then we got a comment from Shanda. She says, she said, be kind or go home. And if you can't, go home. So I completely agree with you on that one, Shanda. If you can't have anything, if you don't have anything nice to say, just keep it to yourself.
Gotta be quiet.
Gotta keep it to yourself, man.
Yeah, they said, Jalen said rank it on a scale of 1 to 10, and I think it was David. He said, well, I'm a 3 at work, but a 10 when I get out of work, which that made
I think
me
we're a
laugh.
10 at work. So
Yeah,
this is
it
what we
could
do
be.
for a living. We talk about other people.
TV's horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. All right, let's talk about this. Starting your dream business, you know, it takes a healthy dose of planning, maybe a cup of money, and a pinch of love. But for Taylor Inman, it was never if, it was always when. And it all started in her childhood kitchen.
Chocolate and a latte. All right, there you go. Baking is an emotional thing because it's a labor of love and it's passed on from your family. My first job was actually in a Food Line deli to decorate their birthday cakes and things like that. It didn't last long because there just wasn't enough creative freedom. It was very by the book and standard. I posted a picture of a cake that I had made for my mom, and an acquaintance saw it and wanted a cake for her husband in a different theme. And after 2 years, it actually had picked up enough that I could quit both of my other jobs. And then after 2 more years, we found this place and decided to move into a storefront. So moving into the space was really a family process. My parents, his parents, and several other of our family members, everybody just really pitched in and helped move equipment around, brought trailers to haul ovens in, and that kind of thing. It is a very indescribable feeling when you create something that someone else seeks out. We want anybody at all to come in here and we want to know their name, we want to know their favorite desserts. The community got us here, and so we want to do for the community as much as we can in return. So.
Yeah, it was really, when you open that door,
The
and
smell, I'm
that,
sure, is
oh
amazing.
my gosh, it's so good. And she's only been open a few weeks and business is really good. She's having a time of her life. So.
And I love
for her.
from using easy bake ovens
Yes.
to a real oven to
From-
create a masterpiece.
From cooking with light bulbs.
I love it.
She's moved on.
It's a good one.
Yep, very cool. All right, we've got to check our email bag right now. And this is where we take questions and we read comments from you.
Yeah, so today is a question. It reads, hello, how did I miss Jeopardy's greatest of all time tournament? Thanks. So we've actually gotten a lot of calls and emails wondering, how can I watch this programming? People wanting to know. So we wanted to let you know this. Jeopardy is a syndicated show, and depending on what city you live in, it can air on different networks. Here in the Triad, it airs on CBS. So you will see commercials advertising for that. We got Jeopardy that comes into our show before us. But the greatest of all time tournament is actually airing on ABC because they have the rights to that specific tournament. So this battle is between James Holzhauer, Ken Jennings, and Brad Rutter. Right now, Ken is in the lead. I'm kind of pushing for him. I hope that he wins.
I do too.
It's really interesting. They each have different strategies on how they win, and it's not just about being smart. You have to have precision on the button and know what money amount to pick at what time to try to find that daily double. So there's a lot of strategy involved.
And that's what Ken was saying too. He said you really have to know the exact time to hit that button at the right point. I will say this without going into great detail. Did you look at their Twitter battle, which I'm not going to go into detail about this.
It was wild.
Let me just tell you to go to their Twitter accounts. Julie's over there going, I didn't see that.
It's
go to
good.
their Twitter accounts and just start reading between James and Ken. They're tagging each other. Got a little racy at times, but funny.
Right.
Very funny. They're picking on each other pretty hard.
See who comes up on top. Interested to see.
So funny.
Yeah.
All right, so you have any questions that you want answered, make sure you email us. It's 425@wfmy.com. All right, forecast-wise, let's talk about this because we've got some big changes coming up. You're going to see lots of changes in our forecast over the next few days. The only thing that's not changing is this rain is sticking around for a little bit. In fact, we think it will be here possibly through the middle part of the week. Here's your 7-day outlook. With today, it's that 70% chance of showers that will continue, and that stays with us really as we head into the next couple of days. It's a 70% on Tuesday and a 50% shot on Wednesday. Now, don't be surprised, especially Wednesday, if maybe you hear a rumble of thunder. We're not expecting thunderstorms per se like we had over the weekend, but we will see, or hear rather, some thunder here and there. That is a possibility, so know that exists. High temperature still really mild. Our normal high is 48. We're at 64 tomorrow, 62 Wednesday. Then Thursday we actually start to clear out. There's a slight early morning, really more like an overnight, the night before type of shower on Thursday. But the high is 59 and clearing skies, might be a little breezy. 20% chance of a shower, but mainly dry on Friday, and we're back down to 50. That's closer to normal. We do get back to normal. There's a 40% chance of rain on Saturday, a high of 55. But by Sunday and Monday, it's all sunshine. Lows will be in the low to mid 30s, and daytime highs will be in the upper 40s.
Coming up on WFMY News 2 at 5, a wanted man considered to be armed and dangerous is spotted in the Triad. Alexander Gillette was seen near the Home Depot off of Battleground Avenue in Greensboro. Authorities in Orange County say he pistol whipped his girlfriend after she refused to break into a home with him. We're digging into his criminal history and the latest on the search for him. Next on WFMY News 2 at 5.